And welcome back. In a joint statement following their divorce, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard called their relationship both passionate and volatile. Those qualities were on display in a love letter written by Amber to Johnny and read in court this week.
You write, quote, "True love isn't about just the madness of passion or instead picking the safety of peace. No, it's about having both, falling madly in love with your friend. That is what has surprised me perhaps the most, that I have seen in you the true bones of friendship and respect. But of course, I still, perhaps more than ever, want to rip you apart, devour you, and savor the taste. Fret not. XX Slim."
Yes, it's a love note.
All right, I want to bring in former ATF investigator and lie detection expert Janine Driver. Janine, what do you make of those words? They were just read in court. Amber wrote to Johnny.
You know, you would think that these two things can't coincide, Gene, at the same exact time, but people might be surprised. Your biggest weakness is also connected directly to your greatest strength. And I'll give you a quick example. People who are stubborn, that's their weakness, but that's their superpower that links right with that is they persist against difficult odds. When the going gets tough, they get tougher. People who have anxiety in run scenarios, the but if people, you know, but what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this happens? They run not A, B, or C, but they run 17 different but what ifs. Well, their superpower is they set goals, they measure progress, they update plans. These are your trend spotters. So the people that are looking at this language and saying, wait a minute, could it be two things? Could they have this mad, passionate, you know, words like magical and memorable and adventure and this negativity? The answer is yes. Our biggest weaknesses are directly linked to our greatest strengths.
All right, now here's one that takes it even up a level from that, all right? In another entry, seemingly near the end of their honeymoon, right, on the Orient Express, Heard writes that their time has been magical, memorable, wonderful, and an adventure. But now listen to what she told the court that happened the night before she wrote that.
Johnny slapped me across the face and held me up by the, kind of got a hold of my neck and pushed me up against the wall of the cart. It was a small, narrow, and there were two beds, one on each side. He had me up against the wall while he was standing on the floor in between the beds, and I was on the bed kind of half kneeling, half standing, trying to get his arms off my neck.
All right, Janine, this is violence right here. And less than 24 hours later, she writes this poetry and prose in the journal. Does that reek of it not credible on the stand?
Gene, I hate to say this, but that story right there is laughable. It is loaded with deceptive hotspots. In order for us to detect deception, we're looking for maybe 3 hotspots. That had, I would say, I have to count them up, over 20 hotspots right there. If we can't put ourselves in the story and understand what you're telling us, then it's a disconnect. Even her body language isn't matching what she's saying. These are called illustrators. The illustrator, I climbed a ladder, I went fishing. The illustrator should be coinciding at the same exact time as we're telling the story. As a matter of fact, the illustrator should come a half a beat before. If I said, call me, the gesture comes a half a second before. So her language here, she does start-stop sentences, which is indicative of someone who's lying. This is a mess. You know, I'm not a specialist in handwriting, but I have taken some classes, and I want to let you know, in both letters, Jean, she goes past the boundaries of the letters. And handwriting analysis, I think, maybe gets a bad rap out there. Handwriting analysis is a brain print. It is your brain. If you lost your hands and had to start writing with your feet, your strokes would go back to almost the same. There's an awesome woman out there named Michelle Dresbold. You should get her on your show because she violates the boundaries. Even in the earlier letter, she wrote the word but, and instead of being in that middle line, the B went to the lower line where you would put your G's or your Y's. This indicates that she has trouble with boundaries. It makes sense that we have 2 different versions of what is happening with her and Johnny. That right there is loaded with deception.
Janine, we have to go, but very quickly, you were in that courtroom today. Whitney is the sister of Amber. Was she credible? Yes or no on that stand?
Yes, at parts and no at others. As a matter of fact, when she walked past me, I was on the edge on row 4. She leaks down and is walking by me, which I thought was interesting. She shoulder shrugged a couple times, which is uncertainty, and her lips disappeared. She was holding some things back.
All right, I want to thank my whole panel for such a great discussion tonight. We hope this case will highlight the domestic abuse crisis in this country. Abusers do not discriminate. Their victims are from every race and economic background. If you are being abused, please get help. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. It is anonymous, it's confidential.
You know their names. Now see who they really are. I'm Donnie Wahlberg. Join me for a brand new season of Very Scary People this summer on HLN.